picture the scene. You are Erith and Belvedere, minding your own business, playing in the Southern Counties East League Premier Division, the 9th tier of English football, when all of a sudden, the giant hand of randomness swoops down like a claw machine in an arcade, picks you up, and plops you in the Premier League, while muttering,
"You are the chosen."
And you now have to prepare for a season in the top flight of English football. Now imagine this same fate befalling 3 clubs every single season. Finally, imagine this happening in leagues all across Europe. This is the norm. Football has changed forever. Me again, just here to burn the game to the ground, dance on the ashes, and laugh maniacally. Now, from the outset and the title of this video, you could be forgiven for thinking that we are just going to be randomizing promotion by taking 3 random sides from one division and moving them up to the division above at the end of the season. But you could not be further from the truth. See, we've gone far further than that. Each of these 12 nations now has only one league in that country, the top flight. And what exists below it is essentially a quagmire of uncertainty, the footballing shadow realm, as it were. And at the end of each season, 3 teams are relegated to it, most likely to be never seen or heard from again. But the 3 promoted sides are plucked randomly from a pool containing every single team in that nation. It's kind of like a lottery, except the winning prize is a trip to Wolverhampton in January. If that sounds like fun to you, then lordy, you're in for a treat today. And worry not, I'll be showing you how you do this, as well as providing the database files and the save file that I'm using right now in various different places so that you can have a little perusal of all these things in your own time. Particularly as we have a save file that's 70 years into the future with all of this chaos turned on, so that's what we're going to be looking at later. Now, as for how we did this, I've actually made a separate video which is linked in the description. It's an unlisted video in case you want to actually know the details of how we went about doing this, but I didn't want to put this in the main video because I felt that it could take up quite a lot of time because it's a little bit more complex than some of the other advanced editor stuff that we've done before. So if you want to watch that, of course, it will be linked in the description. But for now, back to the chaos. So you're probably thinking, if it's entirely random, then the odds of a non-league side being one of the teams that is chosen randomly for promotion are extremely high. And you'd be right. But your next question would no doubt be, sure, but if 3 non-league sides were just randomly plucked into the Premier League, they would presumably just get slapped about a little bit and then relegated back to the Shadow Realm to be replaced with 3 more whipping boys. But what you have to remember is their promotion does come with the money that comes from being in the Premier League, and that should at least be enough for them to sign some players that might give them a faint hope of potentially staying in the top flight. And it just takes one of them to stay up for all hell to break loose. So staying on the Prem for this example, I'm just going to show you what happened in the first 2 seasons in the Premier League. Do not worry, we were going to check in on the other 12 leagues that we have turned on for this later in the video, especially when we do the long future sim. So you can see the first season of the Premier League, very straightforward. Brighton, hilariously, remarkably, go down along with Saints and Fulham, but it's who promoted into the top flight with them for the following season, which was, of course, remarkably actually, Colchester, Warsaw, and a team called US Harold. Also, if you do see your local club in one of these leagues from all over Europe, do let me know, and I'd love to know a bit about them, honestly, because some of them could be as low as 10th tier in their various nations, potentially. The odds of actually getting 2 football league sides in there is genuinely shocking. So both Warsaw and Colchester came up. Didn't go super well for Colchester, just the 1 win, which was against Warsaw. But note here, literally the first season in the Premier League, US Harold, or US Harold, did manage to stay up, and thus the chaos can begin. They finished above both Forest and Palace with 9 wins under their belt, including beating Manchester United, Tottenham, and Arsenal in their first season up into the top flight. So this is the sort of things that can happen when they come up, because they have to then start signing players. They weren't even close to getting relegated in the end. Fair play. But as you can see, on their promotion to the top flight, they spent £22.5 million trying to sign players. Picked up Tyrese Campbell from Stoke, Dylan Williams from Chelsea, Johnny from Lazio, but it clearly was enough for them to actually make it happen. Big up the Harold Bishop Ultras, I suppose.
Goodness sake and shit and balls.
The minute you get uptight, you're dead.
I just had a little look, and these chaps here, I believe I'm right in saying this, but correct me if I'm wrong, play in the 13th tier of English football. Well, they don't anymore, because they're now Premier League big boys. Let's hope that they can win a Champions League one day, which didn't go so well for them as they were actually relegated the following season, along with Lincoln City, who didn't win a single match, but did, again, a Football League side getting promoted is surprising. But you can see, once there's that one spot available for a team to actually stay up, there's potential for them to maybe climb up the league if they get the right results. Berkhamsted, this time, into the top flight, managed to survive with 27 points. The following season, actually survived again, this time with Hook Norton, Axminster, and Telford United going down. What is this badge? That's just Gary Rowett's Hook Norton, I should stress. Nickname Hooky. That's just not to sit here and criticise badges, because who am I to talk? I'm not exactly a graphic designer. But this is just... What is that a hay bale? Worth noting that they do have Alex Iwobi and Dennis Pratt on loan, along with Alberto Malero. They've got John Joe Kenny, Paddy McNair as well, and Jamal Lewis. Phoenix Sports and Hollands and Blair. right. I hope that they have a derby against Holland and Barrett, but you get the idea. So now comes the real fun part of this video. We're going to go to the simulation that I've done in 2099. This took me quite literally a week of simulations to try to get to that point. I was going to try to go 100 years, but for some reason, when we ticked over to the 2100, it just crashed. It's almost like this isn't supposed to be in the game. How many established teams are going to have disappeared from existence entirely? Will we have any surprise winners in various European competitions? And the fact that we've done this with 12 major European leagues, and the way those were picked was I basically asked Twitch chat and they just picked some leagues beyond the Make 5, and those are the ones they came up with, hence why Hungary is in there, because, well, obviously my Twitch save is with Hungary, and I'm actually streaming it right now over on Twitch if you want to join us after this video. Shameless plug, and I'm not ashamed. So let's get to that now and have a proper deep dive into this. And again, the database or the save file for the 2099 bit, I'm going to put in the description so you can download it yourself and have a little playthrough and see what's in there that you might find interesting. If you do find any absolutely mad shit, let me know in the comments. Turns out it was actually 2095. It was the 2100 one, I have it saved every 5 years, that was causing the corruption and whatnot for some reason. But needless to say, it's fine. I don't even know where to begin here, so I'm just going to start looking through various leagues and we can find some mad stuff for each one. And hopefully we end up with some fun stuff in here. We're actually not going to start with the Premier League because that would be silly. We're going to save that for a little bit later. Have a look at some of the other leagues first. Starting with the OTP Bank Liga over in Hungary. Now you'll see, some of you may not be familiar with the top names in Hungarian football that are likely to see in the top flight. I can tell you, most of them aren't here anymore. So we do have, of course, Ferencváros, the big side. I say big side. They did just get knocked out of the Champions League qualifiers by Klaksvik of the Faroe Islands, so maybe not that big anymore. And Vasas are usually around there too, along with Zalagasegi, and obviously Puskás. But the rest of these teams, not teams that I recognise in any way. Particularly Sureg, who are second in the league currently and actually have managed to win a league title in this period. And just looking through the past winners, I wonder if there's been many surprises in there at all. In fact, it looks like the surprise has begun bloody quickly. Within 20 years, though, they still managed to get a league title in there. A different Kecskemét team. This is not the same one as the one that's in the default game. This is a second team from the same town. Surprising to see them up there too. Puskás Academy have done pretty damn well in there too, but it's a lot of the same sort of teams, but then it just goes a little bit off the rails. I think where all this randomness is really going to come into play is when we start looking at the winners of the Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League. There's bound to be some mad winners. Little Easter egg for those of you that like the streams. Apparently, and if I can find this, FOT, our regular whipping boys when we play friendlies with MTK Budapest, actually did do a season randomly, one season in the top flight in 2029-2030. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Stopping by Turkey, you could see things have genuinely gone massively off the rails in Turkey. In fact, I don't know if any of these teams are in the top flight in Turkey in real life at all. I think they might have got a brand new top league. And again, my familiarity with Turkish football is not great, but I still don't recognise the names of any of these teams. Fenerbahce dominated early on with Adana Demirspor, going quite well as well, but then, there you go, Hakkari Cenklik, not a team I'm super familiar with, get themselves a league title in 2046, and then after that, dissolves into madness, honestly. I'm trying to find, the last team I genuinely recognise that have won a league title here is Adana Demirspor, which is crazy because it does just mean that all the major Turkish sides just disappeared immediately. I wonder when they went down. There we go. Galatasaray went down in 2045. Trabzonspor in 2048. Fenerbahce in 2050. Wow, they went a long time ago. There we go. Didn't take them very long. 2057, Besiktas were also completely gone. So far, Turkey has definitely had the most wild things happening in it. Okay, let's mix things up a little bit and go to Portugal and see how things are still see if they've still got the big few in Portugal still in the top flight. I reckon all three of them are. And, well, Porto, Sporting, no Benfica. We are sans Benfica, but more importantly, not the champions currently in Portugal. It's actually a team called Algoz. Is this Algoz's first title? It absolutely is. Although, Portugal has remained remarkably stable considering. Also, can we talk about how Braga won the title in the second season of the Save? Just a big fan of that in general, as I always have a soft spot for Braga, but it took a long time. It took until 2050 for a team other than, obviously Braga, I suppose, than one of the big four, if you like, in Portugal to win it. Also, Benfica literally won it first season and then never won it again, I don't think. But this team here, Rabo de Peixe, again, apologies for my pronunciations, no longer in the top flight, but did manage to win a title in there. That is a badge and a half. Either the fish is eating the football or the fish has been... I think the fish has been decapitated, friends. I also misread that as CD Projekt Red. Taking a break from The Witcher. Gonna do the picture. Then there was a little bit of dominance from a team called Gandaras, who won 3 titles in a row. Cabreros, whose badge looks eerily similar to Sporting. Talk about copying their own work. I assume they're affiliated. Then Porto are back. Sporting again. Sao Sao Paulo. It wasn't really until this little spell here where loads of different teams randomly win it. Moita Boy, Lusado, Moita got another one as well. Rio Tinto, the mining company grabbed one. And then back to Porto. So yeah, Algor's the most recent winners of the Portuguese league. I don't know if they've been in the league before. Let's just see if we can have a look at their history. How long they were in. They've only been in the league for 5 years. They went from 12th to winning the title in a single season. I'm also very curious to see how this is going to affect the international teams of these various nations. I'll be curious to see if they go up or down as a result of this, given that they've got less professional sides, I suppose. Something else I was told to look out for is this team here, B Sports Academy. So massive, again, shout out to Hadrian for setting up this database for me. It is ridiculous and great work once again. But yeah, B Sports Academy, who are apparently an under-23s team who shouldn't even really be in this league, but here they are. They only did 5 seasons in the top flight, 12th and then 2nd in their second season. They damn near won the league, presumably in that year. Some really good results. It's kind of mad that they got 58 points and came 2nd, and they got 52 points a few years later and came 10th. What on earth happened there? And then the wheels fell out from underneath them. 17th place and gone from the Shadow Realm. Probably worth looking at the records while we go along, actually. So as you can see, somehow Sporting drew 20 games in a single season. Porto have won 60 league titles now. Pineirense got 1 point in a season. They got a point. That's the main thing. They did get a point. Lowest attendance was actually in the, I believe that's the start of the second season, where a team called Tegilda got 200 people to watch Sporting. Quick little stop by in Norway, who are obviously mid-season right now, but that is very interesting. Because I briefly saw some stuff in the original one where Norway had quite a lot of changes early on, but you can see that from just the past winners, these are all regular top flight sides in Norway with Viking, Molde, and Bodø. Is there any real surprises? I'm sure there have been, but that is surprisingly straightforward for Norway, really. The first team that I don't recognise to win a title was Kaupanger, which is a great name. Are they still in the top flight? No, they've gone. How long did they last in the top flight in Norway? Okay, they stayed for a little while. No, they didn't. Oh, no, they did. They had a nice long spell here where they actually managed to win a title. Were a regular sort of European contending side, presumably, during that period. Got a cheeky league title. And remarkably, despite all the randomness, actually got re-promoted and re-relegated, but they did come back up. There we go. Navestad. But they've also disappeared. They seem to sort of come up, do really well, win a title, and then just languish until finally being relegated. That seems to be the story of a lot of these sides now. And then it's just stored. Oh, and then Norberg as well. Only 5 teams that are not like recognised big Norwegian sides, essentially, or at least win the top flight at the start of the save, have won a title in this save. Any big records? Bodø obviously have 30 league titles. Fewest points, though. Norheimsund didn't do super well there. And Norheimsund also went 14 matches without scoring. That must have been the most boring set of games to watch for their fans. Right, let's take things up a notch here. Let's go and have a little look at France. Interesting how Metz, the top... Wow, France is looking surprisingly quite stable still. Monaco, PSG, Lyon are in there. Saint-Etienne, who I'm fairly certain aren't in the top flight at the start, must have got a re-promotion in there. Nantes in there too. Bordeaux, Guingamp, Dijon. Like, it's a lot of teams you'd recognise. PSG naturally do PSG things, but before Stade Rennais actually get a few titles in there too. Monaco, PSG. Wow, is this the longest it's gone before someone random wins a title? I don't know what league Metz start in. Let me check. Now, it's worth noting as well that obviously in order to make this work, the playoffs for like relegation stuff had to be removed, as have various cups and other sort of stuff, to make sure that they all just pool into one big tournament. It also helps with European qualification. So it seems that, yeah, Metz were in the top flight briefly. Then they've managed to get promoted and relegated multiple times in this save, which is utterly unbelievable. We've had a few teams come close to winning titles in France. Saint-Etienne, who I believe weren't in the top flight at the start of the save, they might have been. But the closest, I think, of like real sort of more obscure teams is this guy. Probably could just one dude, actually. Guignon, apologies for my pronunciation, but have come the closest to winning one after getting promoted. Well, they got promoted ages ago. So they've stayed up the entire time and really came very, very close. So that means they must have played in the Champions League, which is dope. At least tell me you broke some records in here. So PSG got 104 points in the season, 53 title wins, obviously. That same team that we were just showing actually got the fewest points in the season once as well. Staying on the at least partially French-speaking front, well, let's have a look at Belgium now. Let's see if there's anything a bit more interesting going on in Belgium. Okay, well, not from the outset, no. Club Brugge, Anderlecht. Okay, but at least the Championship group does have KFC near. I need my sat-nav to tell me whenever there's a KFC near. Oh, okay. Right. This is more interesting. Come on, Belgium. It's a little bit more interesting, but it's still only one team that have managed it. So if anyone knows anything about them, do let me know. This is RCS Florenois, who've won a lot of they've won 19 league titles upon being promoted. And they didn't get promoted until fairly late. Well, not fairly late, but like, when did they actually go up? Oh, no. So they came up in 2032 and have stayed there ever since. Didn't win their first, but look how quickly they became good. They came second in 2039 and then just dominant. They're probably not going to win like the most league titles just because of all the other Belgian sides existing, but they've definitely done the best of the save. A hot prospect called Marco Hurt, although I assume he's probably quite injury prone. As for records, and like obviously with 47 league titles, any kind of interesting ones in there. Most league wins in a season. Club Brugge got 35 league wins in a season in Wow, I want to look at that year. Wait, there's 40... Well, there's a lot of games in Belgium, Christ. 110 goals scored too. Surely that's a record. No, it's not. Anderlecht got 112 in 1947. Damn it, post-war period. Stop being so extra. And I'm sure I'm missing stuff along the way. So again, if you find anything or see anything that I've missed, point it out to me because I want to know. There's just so much stuff to go through. Let's dip to Scotland for a little bit. We'll do Spain afterwards because I'm curious. So Scotland, how are we doing? What's it go? Okay. Oh, okay. So the stuff has happened in Scotland, but Celtic are still there. Most notably, though, I think they're the... Oh, no, Rangers. It's Celtic and Rangers. Everybody else is gone. The question is how many titles they won. So Celtic continued to be good. Then Dundee United had a spell of 3 consecutive league titles. So fair play to them. Then it was all Celtic again. Then Motherwell, finally, the first team to win a title in this save that wasn't an established Scottish Premier League side, and it was Dornoch. And they don't care if you're not home, they're coming in anyway. It's also really worth knowing that they won the Scottish Premiership their first ever season in it. Promoted, bang, straight in. Did they sign anyone? They spent £1 million on players. Straight into the top flight, £1 million on players, win the title, goodbye. And that looks like that was the most they ever spent. They just came up, established themselves squad, refused to elaborate, and then left. But that sort of opened the floodgates a little bit, as Peters Hill also got themselves a top title there. Contin also got a second spot in there. Musselburgh Athletic in there too. Peters Hill really did take over after that one. Kirkwall, Thornfinn getting one there. Bonus in there too. Presumably they get bonus points. Lastly up here, the latest team to sort of finally break through there is Invergordon Social Club. Didn't take them long either. Straight to the top flight. 4th, 3rd, 1st, goodbye. They're not here for a long time. They're here for a good time. As for the records, Celtic have 92 titles. Shocker. Any huge surprises in the record books here? Inverness actually got the most league defeats with 32. That is a lot. Isn't there only 33 games in a season? We're now going to look at Spain. And I have it on good authority from Hadrian that Spain absolutely delivered some madness for us. So fingers crossed, right? What have we got? Oh, baby. Atletico's still in there. Real Madrid's still in there. Barca, Real Betis, Athletic Club still in there. But other than... Oh, and Espanyol... Valladolid, maybe? Although I'm not sure, honestly. The rest of the league is completely new, basically. And more importantly is Toledo, the Ohio-based team now playing in Spain, with a guy up front called Mario Barge. Only got 12 strength. Doubt. Actually provided quite a lot of variation, even within the normal realms. As you notice that Espanyol actually won a title in 2046. Although nobody really got anywhere near. Anyone surprised? There we go. The first team to crack it. San Pedro Martir got a 3rd spot there. Then there was also Huetor Vega. And then a Peñarroya also got a 3rd spot, but nobody's even got into the second spots by these point of the seasons. I guess Spain are quite hard to overthrow when you look at some of the teams that are in that nation. And then all of a sudden, the floodgates just opened, and as Casalas got one, and Lagunac came 2nd, and did at least... And again, it was a really quick rise. 14th, 4th, 6th, 1st, and then 10th, but then 1st again. And I've been solid ever since, but I think actually I've just been relegated in this current season. And then Lagunac, who I genuinely mistook their badge from a distance for the Aldi logo, and now I can see that it's far better than that. It's got 4 trees, some chains, and Olympic rings. Any more surprise? So Casalas did win another one, and Lagunac came 2nd again there, but it's been so hard to break into this top 3 until Toledo came along, and that changed everything, except for when Lorca B... I love that Lorca B have been in the top flight and have even come 2nd. Lorca A, nowhere to be seen. It took a long time for it to happen, but it does seem as though at least the league has had a decent number of different teams, which means I've got hope for interesting European competition winners. That's where things could really fly off. Right, come on, show me something interesting in the records. 59 titles for Real Madrid. Ceuta... That's not even the main Ceuta team, is it? Because Ceuta is one of the teams that's based in that exclave in North Africa, is it not? But I don't even think this is their main team. This is a different team from the same place. Oh, that's a big oof. Lamoro with 20 matches without scoring a goal. Imagine going from September to February and not scoring a single goal. 20 games. Surely one's just going to go in off your arse at some point, right? Usaria with 135 goals conceded that season. Okay, we've got to look at that. Yeah, 6 goals scored, 135 conceded. 0 wins, 38 defeats. Not really hugely surprising. So that leaves us with the Netherlands, Italy, Germany, and France. Germany and England to go. So we're going to go in that order, I suppose. Netherlands, what do you got for us? Okay. Slightly there, but Ajax and Feyenoord still there. But notably, no PSV Eindhoven. In fact, I think that's everyone except them. It's just Ajax and Feyenoord, which means surely there's going to have been some interesting winners. How have you managed this, Netherlands? You've got basically no one else except those two, and they're still winning it every year. PSV and Ajax get loads of titles there. Lots more results for Feyenoord and Ajax. Did anyone break that duck? RZ got a few wins in there as well. Wow, genuinely, the first side, the first non-established side to get a title is Blauwit, which I'm guessing stands for Blue Wit. Blue White. A few though. Wisp getting a 2nd spot. Berkel in there too. Also, one of their best players is Santi De Besti. Love that. I might have a deep dive looking for some funny names for you lot as well while we're here. Actually, the most titles, not a huge surprise there. Although PSV with 95 points in one of those seasons is very solid. And the most goals conceded, there you go. Sheev in England with 116 is not great from them. And again, the title, that won't ever go. And an 8-second goals, because of course, apparently everyone can score in 8 or 9 seconds now. I guess if you play enough games, eventually someone's bound to. So Serie A is looking a little bit more... Oh, there we go. Campobello getting themselves a win. But Lazio, Milan, Inter, Napoli, where's Juve? Well, Juve are gone. Now, that could be for multiple reasons. Presumably, they just got yet more points deductions that just got relegated by themselves. But they have been replaced with Juvenil Rossetto, which is like, I guess, Wish.com Juve. Ah, this is more like it. Okay, it was more like it. To start with, it's pretty much the standard sort of thing. Although Albano did get themselves a 3rd spot that year. Also, Barcaccia. First, 2nd spot was anyone at all? Anyone at all. It was Thiesy, or I'm presumably that's not how it's pronounced, Rezzato Calcio d'Or, who don't even have a logo in my pack, so they must be pretty low down. And then Thiesy actually became quite good. Now, I have on good authority that these guys, I believe, in Italy in real life are 6th tier in real life. Now, let's look at their little badge here. That's kind of... I like that badge mainly because the colours remind me of Sassuolo, and I have a big soft spot for Sassuolo. And they have a player called Eric Cools, who has 2 flair, and that is not allowed. Come on, Italy. Show me something on this one. 60 wins for Inter, obviously, is the total there. And fewest league wins. There's always one team that wins nothing, it seems. Germany, then England. Then we'll look at international teams and, of course, a little cheeky bit of European football. I want to see a random team win a Champions League. Bundesliga, what have we got? That is looking surprisingly standard. Bayern, Hoffenheim, Köln, Dortmund, Wolfsburg. Underneath that, it kind of... RB Leipzig still in there too? Unterhaching? Oh, don't tell me not a single team has won it. No way. Not a single team that got up have ever managed to win the German Bundesliga. In fact, has anyone even come 2nd? Please tell me someone's got a 3rd spot. No longer dirty Unterhaching. They've got themselves the only... That's the only one. I heard Tiggers are wonderful things, but it turns out that so are Unterhaching. They are the only one that have ever come even in the top 3 in Germany. Wow. Maybe a cheeky record in here. Bayern with loads of those. Fewest points in the season, 0. Not a huge surprise there. Right, I guess it's time to just sum up with England here. I want to see something from England, please. Surprise Premier League winner, please. I beg of you. Oh, God. Okay, at least there's some cool teams in the top flight, but that doesn't fill me with confidence. Berkhamsted, one of the teams that were promoted originally, are actually still in the top flight, and they may have actually come back, which is remarkable considering teams are promoted from a pool of over 1,000 teams in England anyway. But most of the major sides in England are still there, even Tottenham. Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, United, Arsenal. In fact, I don't think any of the sort of established big 6 are gone. It's just everybody else that's gone. Wimborne doing a good job in the Champions League. They're with Darlington Town, Plymouth Parkway. What is that badge? It looks like a badge for a local council that was designed in a school competition. Barton Rovers in there too. Romulus, Bexhill, Biggleswade Town, Wensfield, St Neots, Seaham, and you might see them get relegated at this rate. Bagshot and Berkhamsted. Is this the first time they've been relegated, or have they actually come up multiple times? Well, they have. So yeah, they were one of the teams that were in the Premier League right at the start of this, went away, and then 60 years later, came back, only to immediately go back to the Shadow Realm. Oh God, England, you're so disappointing. There better at least be some interesting 3rd and 2nd place teams. I did a test of this before, and I literally had teams coming 3rd and 2nd in like season 29. Anybody? No? Yes! Big up Sevenoaks. I always preferred them to Hollyoaks. There's a Trent Foden here. Someone was a big fan of that particular England team. But they were the first one to do it, and please tell me that someone else did it at some point. Wimborne got a 2nd spot, and then Plymouth Parkway recently as well, and Wimborne with a 3rd one. Wow. Sevenoaks really did... They opened the door for 2 people to walk through. Well, England aren't going to break any massive records, are they? Liverpool with the most titles with 44 in total. Anstey got 0. Lincoln City also got 0, but we actually saw that earlier. Anstey gets in 138 goals. Okay, that's the season to take a look at. Oh, they went 31 matches without scoring. From August to literally my birthday the following year, they went 31 games without scoring. I reckon they've got 3 goals that season. 2 goals! Sorry, I overestimated their ability. I wasn't familiar with their game. Yeah, just 138 goals conceded. They conceded 9 to Darlington and 9 to Seaham. It's fine. They only scored twice. Who did they score against? Man United. That is the most FM thing ever. It could have been a 7-1 defeat, but I bet you it was like a 2-1 win for United. 3-1. Yeah, 3-1. Just standard. On the plus side, only 1 player scored in the league. Philip Graham hogging all of the goals. Imagine being your team's top scorer with 2. And then imagine having the 2nd place player be everyone else. The fans of Anstey Nomads got as many goals as most of the team that season. In fact, everyone except Big Phil. Yeah, I mean, I can see why. It seems like they didn't really strengthen that much. Yeah, they spent 600 grand to try and stay in the Premier League. Lads, you're going to need to do a bit better than that. They did sign Pele, just I don't think they quite got what they ordered. Just having a little look through random people in the game, and we have got Yassine de Kock, which is just a fun name. It's not quite Desire de Kock, but it is Yassine de Kock. And just looking at the world rankings, it seems things are pretty stable on that. Spain at number 1. No real surprise. Oh, Scotland up in 15th, though, is pretty damn good for them. I suppose that's possibly just because the league has been turned on. You'll see that Norway are quite high up as well. That will definitely have played a role in that. Although Italy down in 20th is somewhat surprising. They're on the up. Turkey down in 26th, although I'm not sure where they are in real life. See if there have been any surprise winners. And I would say they have. Turkey with a World Cup in there. Belgium with a World Cup too. But Turkey is definitely the surprise World Cup winner in there, I would say. Norway with, presumably with Haaland killing it, with back-to-back runners-up spots in World Cups. Denmark with a runner-up in 2022. Guinea-Bissau coming 3rd in a World Cup. That's probably the most impressive thing. They had a group with Norway and Suriname. Hey, big up Suriname. And actually came 2nd in their group with Norway in there. Then knocked out Peru, standard match. Then knocked out Turkey as well, 4-2. At some point, they're going to have to play, knocked out Scotland next. Scotland in there as well, though. They're going to have to beat someone really, really world-class at some point, though, surely. Except, of course, they didn't, because they then lost to Mexico in the semi-final. But hang on a minute. That means they beat Brazil in the 3rd place playoff. What? What? Brazil just were not asked. Oh, I can't see it because it was like 20 years ago. That's a shame. I haven't got any data for it. Did Brazil even turn up? They're just like, we will not play for 3rd place. We are win or nothing. Got to be some interesting Euros winners, right? Serbia winning it in 2040. Austria with one as well. And then just Spain doing Spain things with a runner-up for Wales and for Scotland. And for England. Quite a lot for England. In fact, they got a couple of wins, which is the main thing. Serbia with a runner-up there too. But it's good to see Austria and Scotland and Wales getting some runner-up spots as well. Austria obviously winning one too. Not bad. Let us check in on the European competitions. We're going to start with the Champions League because I feel like that's going to have the least surprising. Although I'm curious to see what the league phase looks like one random season. Metz in there. Toledo, obviously. Plymouth Parkway, the big boys. Pianese in there too. It's not that different. Barcelona don't even make it to the 2nd round. Veendam in there. Alcudia of Spain in there too. HJK in there. Well, I guess we can't all have nice things. There has not been any surprise winners, has there? No. Although, Wolfsburg absolutely killing it in the Champions League, as a Dortmund. In fact, Germany in general has done a stellar job of winning Champions Leagues in this save, especially after like 2040. It's just German central. Other than Wolfsburg are quite surprising, just not for the reasons I'd expect. Betis in a runner-up spot there too. More Wolfsburg. Metz, sort of, I guess. The Theisy boys. The only one, okay, we can count Metz as well, but Theisy are the ones that have come closest, I would say, of being, because apparently these guys are 6th tier in Italy in real life, so that's, I guess, something. I feel like the Europa League is where we're going to see more madness. Well, I mean, you can already see there's been more madness, as Italy are killing it. Theisy in there too, Campobello with one, Theisy again, Pagum number 1 in the Europa League, Ubervilliers in there too, Lusardo. This is a bit more like it. Alvito, Bagshot, big up Bagshot. There's Nottingham Forest, presumably. Unterhaching in there too. There better have been some fun winners of this one. Right then, what are we saying? Well, it took Wolfsburg. Wow, they really do just become really good really fast in this save. There we go. The first team to win it that isn't, well, that didn't even take that long. Oberrussel. So there they are. They're not even in the top flight in Germany anymore, but they have won a Europa League in this save. In fact, they've won 2 Europa Leagues in 2-year deficits there. Following season, the final was between them and Stockton, an English side who, again, have disappeared. The anchors, and it seems they are now an anchor. Followed up the following year by Sutton Common winning the Europa League against Ghent in the final. Another, well, they've got quite an interesting squad there. They've got a guy called Charles Zand too, and Tobias Plank. Then Everton got one as well. Marinhas, who sound Portuguese, or they might be a Spanish side actually. Oh, no, they are a Portuguese side. What is this badge? That feels like the badge you'd have for a cult, but not like even the good kind. This is where you have to wear like brand new trainers and drink Kool-Aid. Stockton in another final there. Another win for them. Parkgate with another win too. Denia, who again sound slightly Portuguese. I think they are, aren't they? Oh, no, Spanish side, my bad. Sutton Common grabbing another cheeky Europa League win. They love it. Yaxley in the final too. Mullion as well, without even having a badge. They are another English side who are again gone to the realm. Squires Gate. It sounds like a town you'd visit in like Skyrim, but there they go. And honestly, the badge does not dissuade me from that opinion. Nickname, Gate. Also, OS Leos as well, who they definitely look Portuguese. Yep. Wow, Portugal's non-league guys that have come up have done quite a good job in Europe. Eintracht Cuxhaven, my girlfriend's boyfriend plays for them. Colompton as well with Unterhaching. What a final. Unterhaching versus Colompton. Aranjuez in there as well. Bristol Rovers? Just out of nowhere, Bristol Rovers were like, hi, it's us. We're in the Europa League now. Then Thorn beat Toledo as well. Another, surely they're an English side too. Yes, they are. Wow. And they're gone too. A lot more variation in the Europa League, which does make me think that the Europa Conference League is going to be utterly mad. Also, I just realized that Montpellier beat Theisy in the Gary Neville Stadium Stadium in Southampton. How did United still manage to win a conference? What is this? Okay, that's beside the point. Current season, Campobello in there. Oh, this is more like it. Darlington Town in there. A Dutch team who are just letters. And they're still just letters. We've got Viking in there. Forest still knocking about in there too. There's just a mishmash of lovely teams that have come up. And still some real teams in there too that are they're all real, but you know what I mean. Teams that you'd have been more familiar with. FC Hacker getting in there too. I don't think I need to have been worried because the first big surprise is Dudley Sports. Oh, hang on a minute. They're called the Piemen. Moving swiftly up the league. They've got Castro, won it. I assume they opened loads of FIFA backs in celebration. That is an interesting badge actually. So they took the Barcelona shape and then just kind of went, we'll just put our own stuff in there. No one will notice. Stockton in there as well, which is cool to see. A team called Jeg Hassel. They sound Belgian, maybe. Nope, they're German. Never mind. Kitzingen, the Jersey Bulls. There you go. That's a proper fun one for you. Jersey Bulls came second in the Europa Conference League anyway. Barnstaple, a well-known player. Chadderton as well. Isn't Chadderton near Diddley Squat Farm? Or am I thinking of somewhat Chaddy like that? Somborn. Oh, this has gone off the rails. Sutton Common in there. Colmpton. Oh, it just goes off now. Burkle. Everybody wants one. Tooting and Ealing getting in there. Christ. I was joking in the intro when I said Erith and Belvedere, but I wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw them in the top flight at some point. In fact, I just want to quickly check that. Have they ever been in the Premier League in this save? They did do so. Yes, they did. That's amazing. They actually did get promoted to the Premier League in this save. I just chose them at random as like a random lower league side, and there they are. They did come up, they did come 18th, and then they did get relegated the season after, but that is not the point. The point is they did finally get the big hand come down and go boop. So honestly, at this point, I'm not sure what more I can personally show you. I'm sure there's tons of things that I've forgotten, but do be sure to let me know in the comments as you have access to this save file. It might be quite a big download for you, but I'm sure you'll find some fun stuff in there, let's be honest. Next week or the week after, hopefully I'm going to have a video where we've quite literally changed the rules of football using the editor. It is possible, and we're going to show you how to do that too. But for now, if you have enjoyed this, I know this has probably been quite a long one, but if you're still with me, then that's awesome. Drop a like on the video, that'd be awesome. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I stream on Twitch, of course, right now, which is where I'm doing it, so you can come over and discuss the absolute madness that we've just had. Hold your gun, capybara, bye-bye.